Good day, Philippines. This is Radjie Caram Jr. In this episode, we will get up close and personal with Congressman Jack Enrile. Come and join us in this episode as he welcomes you inside his home here in Makati. Congressman, thank you so much for the honor of this interview.
Radjie, welcome to my home. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Salamat po.
Congressman, being the son of Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, people are likely to compare you to your father. In what ways are you alike? And in what ways are you different?
Let's start first perhaps with how we're different. My father basically is a legal practitioner. He cut his teeth in the legal profession before he joined government, whereas I basically made a living in business, particularly small to medium scale businesses. So my training has been quite different from him. I graduated with a degree in business administration. I have a master's degree in business administration. He has a master's of laws. So we tend to think a little bit differently. We are both avid readers, I think. He very early on taught me the importance of being well-read and how to love the written word. One of the ways that perhaps we are different also is that he tends to be a little bit more emotional than me, and he loves to talk, whereas I tend to be a little bit more circumspect and deliberate in what I say. But there's very many similarities in terms of the issues that we believe in and how we view things. Of course, there is a generational difference, and perhaps on certain issues we will differ.
Congressman, while you were growing up, did you understand early on the world of politics and was entering it as a childhood journey, or did it come later on in life?
It came very much later in life. In fact, the first 40 years of my life, I spent basically in the private sector, in business. And really, up to that point, perhaps, when I was sort of thrust into the political world, there was really no ambition whatsoever to be part of politics. However, once I participated and I became involved in political life, I learned to adjust and like it. And now, perhaps, the last 15 years have been quite fulfilling for me.
As a congressman, what bills have you passed in Congress that made you proud that you have served your district?
From the very beginning, since the 11th Congress, I filed what is now known as Batas Kasambahay. I was the only one who filed it in the 11th Congress. I was the first one to file the Magna Carta for Household Helpers, or Batas Kasambahay. And because of that, quite proudly, the ILO adopted the provisions in that particular measure and made it part of Convention 189, which is now being pushed in all countries of the world where there is a domestic helper industry. It took us about 14 years. We filed it in 1999, and it was only signed into law by President Aquino last January 18. So of course, I'm very proud of the fact that being the lone single congressman who recognized the need for a particular measure, it has gone and it has matured to this point in time, and now that Congress has come on board, many versions of the bill have been filed in the past Congresses, now it has become law.
Aside from this law, what other laws or what other bills have you filed that will also benefit the people in Visayas and Mindanao?
Well, we are an agricultural country, and the majority of our kababayans eke out a living either farming or fishing. In May of 2011, I filed House Bill 4626, the title of which is Food for Filipinos First Act, which hopes to be able to address the seemingly lack of capability of our country to push for true agricultural development and feed ourselves. We still do not have, at this point in time, a national food requirement plan. And because of that, we tend to be considered not a serious agricultural country anymore. Our former students, Thailand, Vietnam, even Korea, have far surpassed us in terms of agricultural output. So it is my hope that with a particular measure, we will give, first of all, a priority for agriculture, and secondly, a framework by which, regardless of administration, we can ensure that year on year, we establish a national food requirement plan and a corresponding agriculture infrastructure support map that will address the lack or the gaps of capability on a per province basis. If it is passed into law, if the measure is passed into law, we will first require every province to submit to the national agencies concerned a provincial food requirement plan, which will be the means by which we come up with a national food requirement plan. We will then be able to determine which particular provinces have the best promise in terms of rice production, corn production, livestock, vegetable farming, fruits, cash crops, and the like. And we will then design programs tailor-made for a particular province to maximize on its agricultural potential. With that, we not only ensure steady supply of food and agricultural products that come from within our borders, but also we will give the opportunity for the majority of Filipinos who are still engaged in agriculture to eke out a living, to be able to better their lot in life.
Congressman, if you were given a choice, what would you consider the pinnacle of your public service?
Well, I have always believed in one particular aspect, coming from a rural district. You must provide equal opportunity, not necessarily equal success. And what we did as a father and son team as far as the 1st District of Cagayan is concerned, is we made sure that we were consistent in terms of the delivery of the kinds of projects that we felt would be necessary to increase the agricultural productivity and output of the area. And records will show that we have been successful. Since 1998, there has been a steady rise in agricultural output in the 10 towns of my district because of the amount of infrastructure that we were able to request or suggest or perhaps influence the different agencies of government to undertake in our area.
If given the opportunity to serve the Filipinos on a bigger scale, what are your plans?
Well, I would like to concentrate on my advocacy for agriculture, particularly access to food. There is a higher incidence of hunger now than there has ever been. 21% of our countrymen have said that, based on surveys, that they have actually experienced hunger at least once in the last 3 months. 45% of our kababayans, or close to 45 million Filipinos, consider themselves to be food poor. In other words, Radjie, they consider that what they are eating on a daily basis is inadequate for their nutritional needs. Perhaps we need to refocus our priorities towards agriculture and ensure that for now and the succeeding generations, we will have a steady supply of food that comes within our territory.
If there is something not many know about you that you would want people to know, it would be what?
I have been married to the same woman for 24 years now. I once had a relationship prior to that. I have 4 children and 1 grandson. I enjoy my family life. I enjoy my home life. And I think I have been successful as a father to be able to juggle my responsibility as a father with my commitments for public service.
How are you as a father to your kids?
I'm a doting father. I love my kids terribly. I do not want them to make the same mistakes that I have made growing up. Understandably so, my father was a very busy man. And because of that, there was a sort of a gap between me and my father as I was growing up, and during my formative years, while he was there, a responsible provider, there really was no connection, and I wanted that not to happen to my children.
To your kids, what lessons in life have you taught them?
Make your mistakes while there are people who love you still around to help you get up. I think that was the biggest gift that my father and mother gave to me, that they allowed myself and my sister to seek out our own path in life. And they did not micromanage our lives. And because of that, we made our mistakes, but we also recovered. And we were able to learn from them, and I think it contributed to our betterment. And that is the same thing that I would like to impart to my own children, that they are allowed to make mistakes, not to be afraid to make mistakes, but to learn from them should they make them.
Congressman, what is the Enrile legacy?
Well, it's hard to say. As far as my father is concerned, he has lived such a storied and colorful life. If you look at his life, it is almost like a telenovela. He has risen to the heights, and then he has also plunged to the depths. And I guess the legacy of Juan Ponce Enrile, and I guess it's also the legacy of his family, is they are hardy people who know how to survive, and despite the challenges of life, they have been able to overcome them.
Congressman, in a few words, can you tell our viewers who is Congressman Jack Enrile?
There's no easy answer to that, Radjie. But if I had a little bit more time, perhaps we could come up with a real description. I tend to be simple in my approaches to things. I have the ability to take complex issues and simplify it, and look at the core issues involved. And I think that is what I will bring to the table should I be given the opportunity to serve in the Senate. I have a passion for the more marginalized sectors of our society, Batas Kasambayan being one, this agricultural bill being another, and those are the advocacies that I would like to push forth should I be given the opportunity to serve as senator. I believe that I have what it takes to serve this country. I believe that this country is ready for a push towards agriculture, and given the chance, that is the area that I would really like to focus. Love your islands. We have some of the most beautiful islands in the world. We are blessed by God to be living in the Philippines at this point in time. Take care of them. The world is being faced with the onslaught of a difficult period, which we will see in the next coming years. Climate change will be a factor. Protect your environment. Protect your food-producing areas. Love your farmers. Love your fisherfolk.
Thank you so much, Congressman. We hope you've enjoyed our one-on-one exclusive interview with Congressman Jack Enrile. For Today with Radjie Caram Jr., here on Island Living Channel, this is RCJ.